we toured back. We did like another Northern California show, and then we played Colorado, and then we met up with a Curse Creator, and we took them with us for, I think we did like Kentucky, Toledo, and Michigan Metalfest with them.
Dude, when Chelsea came out on stage with you guys, that was so sick, dude.
Yeah, okay, so Curse Creator's been opening for us when we came to Pensacola for like years.
Oh,
like,
really? Oh, I didn't know that.
I think that I want to say it was like 2014 or 2015 was the first time we played with them.
Oh, wow.
Like they've been around for a minute, and they had opened for us on different shows at this place called the Handlebar in Pensacola.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's still open or if it's not or what it is anymore, but because we played down there, it was just us and Rings of Saturn one time, and we went down there on the Cryptopsy tour too, and they opened one of those shows, but I can't remember which one it was. I almost want to say it was the Cryptopsy show at the beginning of 2015, but we met them then, and then every time we went through like that like Panhandle part of Florida from there on out, a Curse Creator was always on the show. Like and it wasn't even like us putting them on the show. It was just like a promoter, or like they would go out of their way to play it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I think it was like 2018 or so. We had played with them. It was actually in Tallahassee. It was the only show in my entire career I've had to cancel because of my voice.
Really?
So what happened was we had played Hamtramck and we played Toledo.
All right.
And then we had to drive straight down to Memphis. And it was like in the springtime, so like allergies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So going from like Hamtramck, Toledo, and then to Memphis, and then we went down to Texas, and we played 3 shows in Texas, and then drove to Florida. So it was like it was a lot.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And we hadn't played any shows for months leading into that tour.
Okay.
And we didn't like record a new album in between there or anything. So it was literally just like, I haven't done vocals for like full doing vocals for like months.
Right.
And now we're playing every day again.
Right.
And it just went from like cold to warm to like really hot to like kind of cool, like, and with the normal like spring allergies and stuff. And I had started to kind of lose my voice in Houston. Like I couldn't breathe real well.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually had to cut our Houston set, like 2 songs we had to like remove before we played, just to kind of make it okay for me. And we had a day off, and I didn't talk that whole day. I drank tea, I drank honey, everything. We got to Tallahassee, man, and I like went to scream, and just like no sound came out. And like I like just literally could not do it. Like I could not do vocals. I could barely even like talk. So my voice was just gone. And I mean, man, I was calling people to get advice. I was calling other vocalists. I was calling our manager. I was talking to the band. Like, what should I do? Should I just like do what I can? Should I do like hardcore vocals? Like, what should I do here, man? Like,
just yell.
And
like...
and everybody was like, we all decided like we're not doing an instrumental set, period. Like, we're not.
Right.
And not that it would have been bad, but we're not doing that. Yeah. And like, I just couldn't even do vocals well enough to be comfortable with it, and it hurt.
Yeah.
And I was just not in shape to do it. And a Curse Creator was on that show, and we were touring with Your Chance to Die.
Okay.
Was our opener on the tour, and they were both still going to play. So we're like, well, you know what? Fuck it. We're just going to go to the show, and we're going to party and show some support. So like we went out there and we got trashed because we didn't have to play.
Right.
So we just got wrecked and like enjoyed their music.
Hell yeah.
And we all ended up like drunk, and like bands were like wrestling and like in the parking lot, and like it was a good time, man. Just a bunch of drunk metalheads having a good time, and a Curse Creator killed it, and Your Chance to Die killed it. And that's when we started like talking to like Chelsea and all them. We knew who they were, and like we had definitely like hung out before, but it wasn't like we know each other kind of thing.
Right.
It was like, oh yeah, you guys, you know, like one of those things.
Yeah.
And they hit me up and they're like, hey, we're trying to do this tour. We're on Michigan Metalfest. Do you have any contacts you can help us out with? And they hired me to help book their tour.
Oh, okay.
So, and we happened to be coming to Michigan Metalfest too, but from another direction. I was like, well, we could totally hit here on their way up. So we just kind of like put them on 3 dates of, or on the 2 dates of our tour that led directly to Michigan Metalfest.
Wow.
That makes sense.
And they met up with us in Kentucky, and they were like, you know, Chelsea had mentioned that she really liked the song Scum.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, if you know the words, like, hop up. And then in Toledo the next night, she did hop up in Toledo and do it. And when we were at Michigan Metalfest the next day, we had never sprayed blood before.
Right.
And but we had all this leftover blood, and it was the last day of the tour. So, you know, I'm wandering around. We went and I talked to Raven Black, and she's like, yeah, I'll help spray blood. And I went up to, we had Dustin from Filth.
Yeah.
Was in between the barricade and stuff, spraying blood. We had Will Betts, who was in Dead Eyes at the time.
Yeah.
We had Dave from My Own Will. Chelsea came up and grabbed a mic too, and just there's a video of that on YouTube.
Oh, I've watched it many times this year. Yes,
dude, it's such a good video because it's just it just captures how ridiculous that show was. Like we were not supposed to be one. We weren't supposed to be one of the main bands there. Like we were one of the middle level bands that were there. Like,
but okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
you know, we took over like the whole stage. Like they had to stop. They had to stop setting up on the other side because we brought so many people up on stage that they didn't have any room to do anything.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, you're gonna set us up on half the stage, but we're still gonna use all of it. So.
Yeah. And you had a fucking whole mosh pit going around the goddamn sound booth.
Yeah, actually, when we went back in 2019, we're buddies with Scott, who like helps with all the security and everything. And he comes up, he goes, I want to show you something. Like right when we pulled up, I want to show you guys something. And they moved where the soundboard was. And they put up all those boards, all those barriers and stuff, like around the soundboard. He goes, you know why we had to do that, right? And we're like, oh, no, we have no idea. And he's like, this is absolutely because of you last year. Like,
I mean, that's a good problem to have.
That's awesome.
We got a kick out of it, man. And like the first year, like we sold a lot of merch and we had a good time and stuff the first year. We wanted to come back, and that's why we came back in 2019. But we we set up our merch in 2019 and we were like sold out of merch like halfway through the day. And we had to call the label and they had to drive merch out to us from Cleveland. Like, because we were out of stuff. Like, I was like, what is happening?
I remember that. I was the guy that literally bought your last copy of Bond and Mint. Yeah, on that day. Yeah.
We ended up having them like way later in the night, but yeah, it was pretty wild. We didn't expect the reaction we got in 2019. Like,
huge.
We did not expect.
It was huge. That wall of death was insane.
Yeah. I went up to the press tent, man, and other bands, everybody that was interviewing people up there was like, "Are you guys gonna spray blood again?" Like everybody, man. And honestly, we had like talked about it, but we didn't plan it out. And like we weren't gonna like do it necessarily. But then when everybody started asking about it, like I left the press tent, went back to the bus. I'm like, all right, so gather up all the blood we can. Like we're about to douse everybody. Like and then we had told everybody that we were doing it. And we had I want to say it was like 36 or like 40 water bottles of blood filled up. It was like 2 gallons of blood, dude. Like it was a lot. And it was all these water bottles and that we had popped holes in the cap. So you just squeeze them and they just spray.
Yeah.
And we were gonna just pretty much we were gonna start opening them and just launching them off the stage and dousing people, dude. And we had like Jordan from the Breathing Process was gonna help out with that, and like Dustin from Filth was gonna help out with that, and like we had a bunch of buddies that were like ready, like, oh yeah, it's blood time, we're doing it,
Blood time.
And we had our driver goggles, and he wrapped his whole head up in like a black shirt and like put his goggles on over it, and he was up there spraying everybody with blood and stuff. Well, right as we're about to go on, we're literally like on the stairs at the back of the stage. We hear through the talkback mic from the sound guy, if you spray anything from this stage, I will shut you the fuck off. And we're like, well, we're doing it.
Yeah,
it's happening.
And like, it was like this thing, like, what do we do? Like, we don't want to get our set canceled, but like,
it's time
it might be
blood.
But we're like, everybody wants to get covered in blood though.
Mm-hmm.
And like, we got to do it. So Scott comes up to me and he goes, hey man, what am I supposed to do here? And I was like, I don't know. There's a bunch of people that want blood sprayed. And if we don't do it, like, they're going to be pissed. And so we're going to do it. And I was like, we can cover the monitors. I was like, that's fine. Like, we can do, like, we won't get it. We won't screw shit up. Like, we know what we're doing. And he's like, all right, man, I'll tell him. And from what I heard was he went back and told him, he's like, listen, man, a lot of people are going to be real pissed if you kick them off the stage. And like, I'm not going to help you. like some shit like that. Like so, some just like straight up like Scott shit to say. And like,
I can see that.
Then the talkback mic comes on. All right, just don't spray it on my monitors. Like, whatever. Which, dude, I know how much that shit costs, man. Like, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah. I'm not trying to damage equipment.
Right, we're trying to have fun, man. I ain't trying to cost Steve no extra money or nothing either.
Right.
Yeah. Like, we're just trying to have fun and put on a good show that everybody's gonna remember at Michigan Metalfest. You know what I mean? Like, so what we decided to do was we took all the blood and we lined it up on the barricade, on the security side of the barricade, on every step up, all the way down the barricade. Was like 4 or 5 bottles of blood on each one. And we told security, all right, when the House of Suffering starts, just start unloading it on everybody. And if you watch the videos, security is the ones that sprayed blood on everybody.
Yeah.
Like, from the barricade. So it never went anywhere near the monitors because it was never on stage.
It's perfect.
Yeah. And it was just like, it was so cool being on stage and seeing that many people out there and holding up that staff and just seeing like blood spraying like constant from all the way across the stage. I was like, this is cool. Like, this is what I want to do with my life. I want to cover a bunch of people in blood and scream.
I mean, what else is there?
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. That is so epic.
But yeah, it worked out really well. Now we have devised some plans to make it more efficient, to use more blood and to get it out further. So hopefully, I'm fingers crossed that Michigan Metal Fest will happen this year. I hope they can pull it off.
Yeah.
I've already offered my help on anything they need to help make it happen. And we're more than down to be a part of it. So I'm hoping for that email, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
If they don't do it and they don't do it till next year, I totally get that too.
Right.
Yeah.
But either way, when it happens again, if we're not playing, I'm not on tour, I'm still gonna go.
Fuck yeah.
For sure.
Fuck
just go support, man. Yeah. Every year it's like a big gathering of like all the people we know, and it's awesome.
Yeah, dude. It's insane. Like and that is one thing I will say. If there's any kind of silver lining to this bullshit we've all been through, it's that when shows do come back, it's gonna be hard for anybody to get a ticket because everything is gonna get sold out.
I hope so.
Immediately. Like it's gonna be madness. It's gonna be.
I really hope so, man.
And every show is just gonna be like every time you guys play a new city, it's gonna be for the first time. since pandemic. It's going to be the
Mhm.
welcome back party. You know what I mean? It's going to be the
Right.
fucking like, and I cannot fucking wait for that, dude. That energy is going to be insane.